course of the 5th grade year, 6th grade placement tests, PT6 given to all students in March, composed of mathematics concepts taught in 5th and 6th grade, and New Jersey grade 4 math scores. So, and then the criteria is specified in the board policy and regulations. Uh-oh, that page moved. Okay, I clicked on the policy, but it moved. So, I'll go back to math. So, if you could take some time to write some of those recommendations and things down, because this is one of the biggest things that we're trying to work on as we go forward. If you need paper, I have paper. You don't have to write it all on stickies. I do have paper.
Yeah, just having a short, not a short break, but they're going to assemble in groups, and then they're going to come up with recommendations.
I thought it was
So, we just going to...
That's what I said.
No, it did, because sometimes...
And now there's going to be a breakout. So, just bear with us, we continue to be live from the Maplewood Middle School.
You're afraid that she's going to get to college and there's going to be something she doesn't know how to do.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my... No.
There's only 2 of us. So
It is going to talk, but I can speak. I think it's important that the parents are informed of any decisions that are made by the school, because if it's going to have an effect in your transcript, as opposed to you being in 8th grade and getting an A and doing 9th grade math and getting a C,
Right.
it could have a significant impact on your transcript. I think that's what
Your daughter's only in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Is that 9th grade class she's taking? That could be in her college transcript.
Right.
So that means you really need to...
I didn't know that.
You need to make sure she's doing well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I also think as well is that if a person is in the 8th grade and they're doing 9th grade math, I think there might be some of the few outstanding students that we have in South Orange and Maplewood.
Right.
I mean, it's good. Like, I don't
especially-
have a problem about that. But the problem that I have is, one is good enough, not too skilled. That's bad. Because you go to, they're saying that they, they're fine, they can handle it. But I believe that there's some curriculums, there's some, chunk of topics that they're supposed to have covered. Because I'm saying this because my second daughter, right, even though she went to boarding school, but when she got to boarding school, when she got to boarding school, she had to teach herself some maths. She had to teach herself, and test her.
I can speak to that too, because my son actually went to boarding school too.
It's not going to be, I think they need to be solid. One is good, two solid. Two skills. That's what I would do. They need some foundation. That's what I think people couldn't recognize me because I think to the teacher already to say that why do they?
I think you should try to get a meeting with the guidance counselor and talk to them about what she should do.
So I think from this table, one of the big recommendations is that
Should I write it down?
the parents should be informed if a kid, any one of the students is going to be put in accelerated math so they can make an informed decision regarding their transcript. So it could have an effect on a student being a 3.1 grade point average to a 3.5 grade point average.
First of all, parents need to understand the big picture. They need to understand how the math is structured.
Right.
So that then when you get the information about your individual child, you understand what it means and what the significance is.
Right.
You know, does this mean that my child is going to be tracked on the lowest level for the rest of their high school career? Does it mean that my child is going to skip 2 grades? Does it mean that in 7th grade my child is going to be taking a class that goes on their college transcript? You know, what are the implications? And you can't know that if you don't even understand the overall structure and the big picture. I mean, it's so funny because they're asking us to give them advice, but people came here looking for advice, looking for someone to explain to them what the structure is, which is not why I came here. I came here for a totally different reason.
I came here for this.
Right.
So what did you come here for?
Because I understand why.
Please, let's slow you down. They have to talk about this.
So you came for high school, transitioning to high school.
Yeah, I want to know what.
Right. I think most people came here for that. I came here because I thought that I understand that these consultants are here because we had a civil rights complaint, and that we need to close the achievement gap, and we need to have more Black students in the higher level classes. And I thought the ACLU tried to bring a lawsuit against our district because we have an uneven outcomes, right? In the high school, we have just shy over 50% Black students, but the students in the honors classes are primarily white. So historically, that's how it's been. Maybe that's starting to change now, which would be great. But the ACLU, this man who lives in our district named Walter Fields, who was the head of the NAACP for a while. I don't know if he still is or what. Anyway, he joined with the ACLU and brought a suit against our district because we have these unequal outcomes. The conclusion of it was that they didn't actually get to bring the suit. The federal government said that there shouldn't be a lawsuit, but that we should get consultants to help us, improve the situation. And that's what Ms. Ramsey and her team, that's what their job is. They're supposed to be giving the district advice. So I actually think it's strange that the consultants that were brought in to advise our district, I think it's strange that they are holding a workshop
On transition to high school.
Exactly. I thought that this was more like a focus group of citizens to get our input, because I have a lot of thoughts and ideas about this, about how we can, work together and close this achievement gap. Now, maybe one of those things, maybe one way, is to have more hands-on workshops for parents. But this is like a weird blend of those two things, and I think a lot of people were very shocked when she showed all that data, not just by what it contained, but the fact that they didn't know they were coming to a workshop about race. They thought they were coming to a thing about how do I make sure my kid gets into a higher level? You know what I'm saying? Or how do I make sure my kid's in the appropriate level? Or how do I even understand this whole system? They were looking for something to help them, not how. So I don't even understand. I think it was
Miscommunication.
I think it was possibly poorly conceived and also not well communicated. Like, what is this thing tonight. What I wanted to do was have somebody listen to my ideas, and I wanted to hear other people's ideas.
So what are some of your ideas?
Well, I have a bunch of different ideas. First of all, I think that I would like to see that data mapped with also what children are entering the district and what children are leaving the district. Because we get a lot of new students around the middle school year who did not go to our elementary school. And we know, exactly, and we know that poverty and mobility go together. The people who are poor tend to move a lot.
But I think they have done studies about that with regards to I think what you might be trying to say is that some of the students coming into our district might be coming from certain urban districts, and as they go through the school system, they tend to get placed in level 3 and not advance from level 3.
Exactly.
So they come from lower standards,
right,
and they continue to go through the system at these lower standards.
Exactly.
And I know because I've been here over 15 years.
Yeah.
They have done studies about that, and that has not turned out to be any significant statistical data to prove that somehow those kids are bringing down the numbers in the school system.
Right.
I know that because I sat on different committees here sometimes.
So I would be interested just to have more information about that. Yeah. I also think that I have a bunch of ideas, but one is that I think that our elementary schools are more segregated than they should be. My kids go to Seth Boyden, which is where the majority of the African American students are. And the other elementary schools really do not have very many black students. I mean, they do have some. But our percentage is like 40%, let's say, or 50%. And the other schools are maybe 20%, 10%.
But also regarding to that, didn't they make Seth Boyden a magnet school?
Yeah, we opt into it. People can opt in to go there.
Right.
But guess what? I mean, over the years, not that many people are necessarily opting in because they have to take a bus to the other side of Springfield Avenue. They don't necessarily want to do that, put their kids on a, So, I mean, I chose to do that. But I just think that if the elementary schools were more mixed, that when the kids get to middle school, they would have more experience with each other and they would have more respect for each other, because you know how it is when you grow up with someone and you've known them since kindergarten and you have a familiarity. It doesn't mean that you're best friends, but it means that you are comfortable with each other and you have a familiarity. And I think that that would make a difference in how the students perceive themselves, the black students and the white students, how they perceive themselves and how they perceive each other. And I think it would help with the leveling. But the most important thing that I think we should do is I think that we should have an employee of the district who has a community organizing background, a full-time person, and their job is to work with parents and families to communicate what the district policies are, what the expectations are, to help people access services, to help parents understand how much time and work is required into helping your child succeed, and to try to even out the playing field a little bit and provide some services for people who maybe don't have a full-time parent at home, sitting and reading with the kids for 2 hours every night. So I think we need to do more as a district and when families come in, like if a family comes in at 6th grade, the first person who knocks on their door with the new neighbor basket should be that person from the district. Hi, welcome to the South Orange Maplewood School District. We're so glad you're here. Here is what the expectations are going to be of your child and your family, and here's how we can support you in meeting those expectations.
I think those are excellent ideas, and I think we need to put those ideas down
Yes.
on the paper.
Okay, let's put them on the